Hi, it's Colin Coward. I started The Volume to bring you some of the most authentic voices in sports. While you're here, make sure you hit subscribe. Thanks.
I saw this quote from Joe Burrow, and I thought it really encapsulates why the 4 teams are left and why the good teams in the NFL consistently win. It's why the Patriots and the type guys they built for so long. And it always comes up during draft time whenever you find out a player, like, this guy might like playing piano more than football. This guy might want to become a doctor while he's playing. And teams are like, I'm a little iffy. And all the media, they're all from academia. They get very bothered by that. Why do you care about other interests? No one cares about other interests. Is football your number one priority? If football's not your number one priority, and I'm going to draft you high or I'm going to sign you to a lot of money, we got issues. You know what Elon Musk's number one priority? Tesla. You know what Jeff Bezos' number one priority forever? Amazon. You know what Tom Brady's number one priority was the majority of his life? His football team, playing quarterback, Peyton Manning. Like, just go around all the top players. Like, say what you want about LeBron James, what he does for his body and is locked in for basketball is his number one priority. If football's not your number one priority, I have to question if I want to invest a lot into you. And Joe Burrow said this to Albert Breer right after the game. We have a lot of players that it really, really matters to. And when I think about these 4 teams, like, one thing's clear with Joe Burrow. Football is his number one priority. Now, your family or faith. When I got involved in football, and I think it's a long-standing kind of motto, is faith, family, football. Family, football, faith. However order you want to make it. But football has to be a priority level in that, right? A lot of people, family, God, come first. And rightfully so. And for the best, football's right there with them. And I would argue anyone that's super successful in business, whatever they're doing, they could be a chef, they could own some retail store, they could sell fucking Mercedes. Whatever that business, if they're at the top, it means a lot to them. And it's why when the draft comes around, the media gets so uncomfortable when we don't really want balanced guys. I want football to mean everything to you. And the best part about this industry, if it does and you're good, you get paid a premium. And then you can retire at 32, 33, 34. You have the rest of your life with a ton of cash in the bank. You get to do something very, very special and be highly compensated for it. But it is hard at the highest level, as you saw this weekend, if you don't truly, truly, deep down in your bones, really give a shit. Like, I think a big reason the 49ers overcame kind of mediocre quarterback play, their team is littered, and I mean littered, with complete football guys. You watch the reason that Josh Allen could go toe-to-toe with Mahomes. It's not obviously he has special talent. Do you understand how the energy and the effort that guy has put in over the years? What football has to mean to that guy to improve to that level? Do you know why the Kansas City Chiefs are going to their hosting their 4th straight AFC Championship game? Because their best players, and they got 4. Chris Jones is right there too. Honey Badger got KO'd. But did you see Chris Jones on the sideline getting into it with his guys? He's their best defensive player, and he's so locked in and so fired up. And then their core guys on offense, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill, football, you can't even dispute it. When your best players, and it means everything to them, and they truly care about winning, and winning is their life. Because it is with coaches, right? You see Andy Reid or Sean McDermott or Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan or Bill Belichick. Like, they are obsessed with football. Football to them, they care about it. Like, it's humanly impossible to care about football more than the coaches do. It's an unhealthy addiction they have. It's why when they can find players that are on their level, you see it with Peyton Manning, you see it with Tom Brady. You're now seeing it with Mahomes and Allen. And I think Travis Kelce is that way. In my backyard, I see it with George Kittle and Fred Warner. These guys love football to just every core of their being. You can win big. Every team has random guys that care a lot about football, maybe a backup. But if those are the guys on your team that it really means something to, you have a ceiling. Like the reason that the Bengals went from joke to now in the AFC Championship game is because their best player, Joe Burrow, is a football addict. And this game of football means everything to him. And I'm not saying more than his parents or more than his faith, but it's on that level. And when you have that, the sky is the limit. And I think it's cool to watch Aaron Donald in that game against the Arizona Cardinals on Monday Night Football was fighting people up 28-0, was trying to rip a guy's head off as they're beating the living piss out of him. You don't think playing in these playoff games mean a lot to 99? A guy that if he never played in the playoffs this year is going to the Hall of Fame. You don't think it means a lot to him? J.J. Watt came back from his arm getting basically ripped off. You don't think football means a lot to J.J. Watt? So when the draft comes up and we have these controversial takes on guys, did you see the viral video that went on Kayvon Thibodeau? How he talked about why he went to Oregon over Alabama? Don't be surprised when he slips in the draft a little bit. Get ready for it, because it's coming. I'm not saying he's going to go in the second round, but when you're like, damn, how did this guy go 9th overall? Google the video, then holler back at me. I also was thinking about this, and I vividly remember, I think Tom Coughlin, when they first went on their big run in 2008, and they ended up winning that Super Bowl. But I think it was in the NFC playoffs. He used to address his team, and the videos would go viral on TV or whatever. I mean, I think it was a little like Twitter, and I guess Facebook was there, but he used to be like, be humble in victory. And I was watching Kyle Shanahan's press conference, and he was just saying, like, we easily could have lost that game. And in this game, the margin for errors are so small. It's why you have to be humble, right? Any person listening to this, if you're old and, past probably 35 or 40, you've had something professionally that has rocked your world. It's not that hard in this country we live in to go from the penthouse to the outhouse fast. Now, luckily, because of the opportunities capitalism provides, you can go from the outhouse back to the penthouse, or at least back to, a solid place in the building pretty quick. But it's very easy in this world, in business, like in football, to get humbled very, very quickly. Some stuff's out of our control, right? Things happen, and it can just rock your world. It's why when things are going well for you, especially economically, the people that pump their chests and brag get kind of exhausting. It's why no one feels sorry for them when shit hits the fan, right? And I was texting with a buddy last night on the Chiefs, and I was like, it's got to be the cool, and he's been there for a while, it's got to be the coolest victory. He's like, this place was berserk. And I'm like, for as awesome as your building is going to be tonight and definitely tomorrow on Monday morning, can you imagine how shitty that Bills vibe is? I mean, it was a bad bounce here, a screw up by the special teams coach there. Like, the margin for error is very, very small. Very, very small. And he's like, what's funny is I was walking out of the stadium. I walked by the Bills locker room, and it was sad. And the difference, what makes the NFL so awesome, when you just think about the history of the league, right? Where I live, and this happened before I was ever born, and it's one of the most famous plays in league history, is the catch. It literally was a throw that Joe Montana, a couple feet higher, Dwight Clark can't make it. It goes right over his head. Think about the game that the Patriots, that elevated them into stardom, was the famous kick by Vinatieri in the Tuck Rule game. What if he slips? What if he hits the upright? Maybe he never becomes Adam Vinatieri. It's not like most of the winners in the National Football League, in the playoffs, win these games by 20, 30 points. Most games come down to a bounce here, a drop here, at the highest level. And think about all the Patriots Super Bowls. They've been a ton of tight games. And, they won 6. Think of all Brady's wins / and his losses. It's why when you think about the Chiefs, like, they had that incredible Super Bowl victory against the 49ers when they were down late and they came back. They've also had some devastating losses. The year before, they lost in overtime at home to Tom Brady. They were 13 seconds away from losing that game. And there really is, and I try to think about this a lot for myself. And it's easy, like in the media world, you got to like promote stuff on social media, and sometimes it can be really exhausting. I mean, it's part of the deal, and you don't have a choice, but it's one of those that sometimes, like, I just can't. I'm not feeling this. And I think a lot of players, it's why I have so much respect for these guys, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, even Matt Stafford, just the way they conduct themselves. You watch Tom Brady after that game, there's a humility to them in wins or losses because it can easily go the other way. And, the victors get to write history. And there are a lot of times, I bet, if you look back, like a bad bounce here, and this goes for sports, that it's very, very easy to be on the other side. It really is. And unlike business, where if I went bankrupt tomorrow, I can battle back. I can come back. If I lose a devastating game as a coach or a player in an NFC championship game, in a World Series, in a golf major, there's no guarantee I ever get back to that spot. That might be my one opportunity that I can define my life. For every Tom Brady and Joe Montana who gets all these spots, look at Aaron Rodgers. I say it all the time. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best players I've ever seen any sport. I feel like, is he ever going to make a Super Bowl again? I mean, shit. I don't know. Kind of feels like no. As crazy as that sounds. So, I know we got a lot of pro athletes listening to this. It's just, there is something to be said. And I'm not saying you get to celebrate, but like there was a video yesterday where Mahomes sprinted to go see Josh Allen. There's a humility that I think this game and life humble you at the moment's notice, especially when you start feeling yourself. Thanks for watching 3 and Out. You can check out the podcast below in the description, and make sure you subscribe right now to the Volumes YouTube channel.